Hello, my name is Maddie, and today I will be showing you how to stitch fabric together because that is a no-no. So you will need a couple of materials. First, you'll need some scissors. Next, you will need a needle, which is very importante. Some thread, preferably thread that matches your fabric. And some pins to pin the fabric together so you don't have to hold them together, as well as some extra backup needles. So the first thing you want to do is you want to take your fabric, make sure you lay it nice and flat in front of you, and you want to take some pins and pin it together from the inside because you want to make the thread only visible from the inside, so you want to pin it on the inside as shown there. So you want to make sure that the sides are matched up evenly and correctly, otherwise it'll look wonky when you actually sew it. And you'll just take those pins and you'll go under and over in the fabric. So you'll see it in a second how it looks under and over like that. And you'll just want to do that all the way up to the end of the fabric where you want it to be sewn together. You can have as many pins as you want, although I do suggest having less pins, that way it's less to pull out when you're actually sewing and you won't have as many pins getting stuck or in the way while you're sewing. So I'm just going to use 3 for now since it's relatively a short piece of fabric that I'm sewing. Remember, under and over. Voila, all done. So now we can actually start to prep the needle. So what you will want to do is you will want to take your thread and you will want to have as much thread as possible because if you have less thread then you'll run out and you will have to cut it out shortly and it won't look as good. It'll look all bunched together. So you'll cut a long piece of string, and one thing I like to do is wet the other end of it with some saliva so that it can go in through the eye of the needle. Excuse me while I put on a light so you can see better. So like I said, I'm going to wet the end of it so I can put it through the needle easily. Also, according to Debbie Colgrove of Spruce Crafts, there's also a needle threader that you can buy at craft stores, but I just prefer to do it through the eye of the needle myself. But if you have a lot of trouble getting it through, since it's such a tiny hole, then you can do that. Once you get it through and you get the other ends to match together, you'll want to tie it in a knot, preferably a double knot, just so there's no chance of the thread slipping through the fabric while you're sewing, because you'll probably pull really hard, and if you don't have a proper knot at the end, you might pull the thread all the way through instead of actually sewing it. So your needle's all prepped. And for this one, I will be doing a slip stitch, which according to Ashley Poskin on Apartment Therapy is the stitch that is used to be less noticeable, and that can be used for like the insides of pillowcases, pillows. It's just the least noticeable, and it ensures that nobody knows that you sew anyway. So what I'm doing is basically I am going through both sides of the fabric, and then I'm doing the same thing with the pins that I did earlier, and going under and over and then switching back to the other side. So you always want to make sure that you go through the fabric both sides, otherwise you'll only catch one and you'll basically be sewing nothing together. So through both sides, then over and under, and then switch to the other side, over and under, and then go back and forth until you reach the very end. Some no-nos with this. You would, according to Laura Sorkinich of Popular Mechanics, the things that you cannot stitch are leather, like nice dress suits and outdoor clothing. I would suggest getting other things.